Hey guys, welcome back to another book preview video. This week I am really excited to be previewing this Fundamentals of Creature Design. So a quick look at the cover, as you can see there, a little look at the back. If I can get my camera to focus. So one thing I can notice straight away is this book is really thick. I mean, there's a lot of content in this. Well, there's a lot of pages to it. I'm hoping there's a lot of content to it. So let's start with the contents. I always like to leave this open for a couple of seconds so that you guys can pause the video. Let's lift that up, see if that helps. Just in case my camera loses focus. So I am going to skip through a few pages at a time to preview this book. It's quite a lot of pages, so we don't want to make this video too long. As mentioned at the beginning, this book is one that I've actually had my eye on for quite a long time. It's been top of my wish list, or my art book wish list, for a while now. Admittedly, it's been a little while since I've actually looked at the previews to see what's inside it, but I remember looking a little while back and thinking to myself, this looks really good. If you are into creature design, I have a feeling already this book's going to be awesome. And as well as it being quite a thick book, you might notice it's quite tall as well, so you're getting a lot on each page. It does mean it's more difficult to preview on camera, of course, but that is a sacrifice I am more than happy to make for extra content. And one thing that I mentioned in my last book preview video is that I'm not a fan of certain art books where they just show you step by step how to draw a single character, let's say. I much prefer ones like this where they're talking about developing your ideas, showing you where they started from and where they're ending up, I guess. Giving you the tools, basically, to actually create something yourself. It's all well and good being able to draw one thing from one angle, but there's only so many times you can draw that before you need to learn more. Plus, let's be honest, these kinds of books are much more exciting. I mean, I can tell without even reading it, I can see that this one's got tons of detail in it. Looking at almost like, I won't call it a backstory, but looking really deep into anatomy there. But I was going to say like the habitats, and I think I saw a little bit about breeding and stuff like that. So they're going a little bit beyond just, oh, you can draw this, stick this together, try putting this on. And more into, well, making it more believable. I think that's one of the things actually that I read on the description. This is about creating believable creatures. So you might have noticed there we've passed quite a few anatomy sections from like primates, felines. I was going to say a couple of animals, but we're still going. That's really cool. I'm loving how much depth this book's got already. And one thing I do remember when looking at this book is that it mentioned a few of the artists in them. I'm not sure of the artists by name, but I know that it mentioned that some had worked on Marvel films and some had worked on Weta films. So it actually mentioned Lord of the Rings. A few of you that watch my videos will know I am a huge Lord of the Rings nerd, so anything like that piques my interest straight away. So definitely a lot of respect for the artists in this book. This reminds me a little bit of an Indominus Rex from the new Jurassic Park movies, or Jurassic World. So I was going to touch on the fact that this book, you know, mentions in the description about it being whether it's for film, game design, or whatever. But that chapter there just mentioned about developing the characters specific to the industry, let's say, which I think is pretty cool because I feel like this book is going to prepare people more to move on to jobs and things like that, maybe. Of course, I am only seeing this at the same time as you and basically just thinking out loud. But so far, it's really cool. I'll admit I'm a little bit biased because I have been really excited about this book for a while. I had no idea it was going to be as big and full of content as this, though. That's really cool. And I just paused the video a little bit then so that I could get some information about the book as well, so that I can actually give you guys some information whilst we're previewing it. And it describes this book as starting by researching the characters or the creatures, looking at real animal anatomy, which we saw a little bit of in the preview, learning how to develop and evolve those. Like we said earlier, making it sort of realistic or believable might be a better word to describe it. It even mentioned things like the lifestyle, the habitat, the diet, and the life cycles of the creature that you're creating. I do think that's really good because one of the things I studied in university, one of the modules I did that was on this kind of thing, they stressed the importance of not just making a character up, or for it to be believable, you can't just completely make things up. they sort of made a point of saying if you want to work in the industry, you have to have reasoning behind that. Why does it have this kind of teeth? Is it for eating this kind of thing? Where would it sleep? So what kind of habitat would it live in, and would that affect its, skin, scales, that kind of thing? Obviously, I'm just trying to give a quick overview. I'm not sure I'm wording it very well of what I mean, but I definitely think this is quite a professional book. Yeah, beginners will definitely learn something from it, but this isn't, as mentioned, just a step-by-step book, how to make up a creature. This is a lot of information, delving quite deep. It's written, or it's laid out in quite an interesting way, though, to me. I could sit and read this, whereas some books, if they're not written nicely or if they're not laid out nicely, I personally just lose interest. So this is ideal for me. And also, I believe that there are 8 case studies at the end. Now, I assume that means showing the full workflow from start to finish. Those things we already mentioned about doing your research, evolving it, looking at the life cycle, etc., etc. I think it basically means like an example of that, showing some of the professional artists' work from start to finish, hopefully. I also just checked, and it has almost, I think, about 288 pages. So almost 300 pages to this book. When it's this size book, that's really impressive, to be honest. Especially for the price. I will put links in the description box below to where you can get this. So a quick look at the artist's gallery here at the end, just for a few pages. And then I'm going to close this up because I think I've showed enough. And just whilst passing over a page, I noticed there it's got a page on exercises. I'm not going to stop and read this on camera to look at how it works, but I think that's pretty cool. Especially if you're sort of teaching yourself and not going to any schools. I think it's always good if a book gives almost like homework, actually. As long as you do it, it's probably the best way to learn. So there's a quick look at the artists, in case you guys recognize any of them, or the contributors to the book at least. So there you have it. That is the fundamentals of creature design, how to create successful concepts using functionality, anatomy, color, shape, and scale. So don't forget that I got a few other books in this order, so be sure to check those out. I'll put links in the description box below the video. But as always, guys, I would love to know your thoughts on this. If you already have it or you're thinking of buying it, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and of course subscribe and turn notifications on for future content. Thanks for watching, everyone.